Oh, welcome to our first video about dashboards. Here we have the finished dashboard that we're going to be creating. A dashboard is really just a series of pivot tables with associated pivot charts put together and arranged nicely. Here we have 5 charts, a line chart, 2 bar charts, and 2 column charts, and then 2 slicers that control them. So that if you click on just Andrew, all of the charts update to Andrew. You can control click, do Andrew and Michael and Robert and Nancy, and all of the charts will update. Okay, so 5 charts and 2 slicers that control the charts. Here we go. Okay, here's our data downloaded from Canvas. Click on any cell and then do Control All, so Control A to select all of the data. And then we're going to insert a table, hit OK, and then rename the table. Let's make this sales data. And now let's start making our pivot charts. So open up a new sheet, insert a pivot table from sales data as our table. And for this first chart, I wanted the timeline. So I need the order date. It comes in by month, which is great. And then let's find revenue. There it is. Automatically went into the values. Let's give our pivot table a name. Let's name it timeline. And then we can insert, here we go, a pivot chart and do a line chart. Hit OK. All right, now these charts are going to come in with a lot of extra stuff on them. So first we need to right click and hide all the filled buttons on the chart. I can click and then delete the legend. I can delete the axis values. Let's make a new title. So click on the title, and I want this to be, I forgot what I want this to be. 2014 sales trend. 2014 sales trend. And notice that it's typing up in the formula bar when I have the title highlighted, and then when you hit return, the title will go in. With that highlighted, you can Control B, make it bold. You could go up to the Home tab, and you could make the adjust the point size. We can also get rid of the grid lines. So select the lines and then delete. Now on the data series, I want to label it. So let's add data labels. And let me right click on those labels, format the data labels to be above. And these revenue values, they're cumbersome. They take up a lot of space, make the chart look cluttered. So come down to the number options and change to number. And when I did that, notice that I lost the $sign on the front. I don't want any decimal places, but I can fix all of that down here in format code. So let's talk about the different codes. If I take off all of this and I hit add, watch the numbers up at the top. So there's no comma. I lost all the decimal places. If I put in front of this, I can put a $sign. If I put a comma behind it, the hashtag, and add it, now that instead of just giving me a comma separator, that said only do thousands. So it's rounding to the nearest thousand. If I put zeros after that and then add it, now it adds in those other numbers. But I just want it rounded to the thousands. So $sign, hashtag, comma, and then I want people to know it's in the thousands. So I'm going to put surrounded in double quotes, K. Add that. That looks good. Anything else I need? No. Oh, yes, a border. I need a border. So let's go to the fill border and make the color black. And that's good. Let's name this sales trend. and go on to our next chart. Next, we'll do the sales by salesperson. Looks like it's in green with the data labels inside the end. Let's open up a new worksheet, and I need to make another pivot table. Insert a pivot table based on sales data. And this time I want the salesperson name that automatically goes into the rows, which is where I want it, and the revenue. And I want this to be sorted. So let me click in the revenue column and then right click to get this short menu and sort from largest to smallest. So I've got the highest revenue up on the top. Oh, let me name my pivot table before I forget. This is going to be by salesperson. Let's name our sheet to by salesperson. And then we can insert a pivot chart. And it defaulted to a column chart. And the biggest difference between a column and a bar is the formatting of the labels. So notice that the names are kind of scrunched and on a diagonal, but if you change it to a bar, then there's much more room to put the names of the categories. So hit OK. Again, right click and remove all the field buttons. I don't need the legend, I don't need the grid lines, and I don't need the axis names because I'm going to right click and format the data series first. There's a big gap width, like the gap is almost twice as wide as the bars. So if I change the gap to 40%, that looks better. Let's go to the fill options, change the fill color to, what was this one, green. And what else? Oh yeah, add data labels. But those data labels, so notice I still have format the data series, but if I click on the label itself, now I have format the data labels. The 3 bars inside the end. Okay, that looks good. My title will be, I forget, let me bring it up. Sales by Salesperson 2014. Sales by Salesperson dash 2014. Hit return, Control B to make it bold. Oh, and put a border. Almost forgot. Yep, I need a border on that. Let's make a solid line in black. Oops, had the wrong thing highlighted. We take that border off and make sure I only have that outer part of the chart selected, and then I'll put a border on that's black. Oh, but I have the decimal places here. So if I can go back to the revenue and do a number format and take the decimals off, and then that will update automatically in the chart. Okay, that looks good. Let's go to the next one. Next, we'll do the top 5 customers. Looks like it's in yellow, border around it. Pull up a new sheet and insert a pivot table, sales data. This is top 5 customers, so I want the customer name, and it's by revenue. So I'll click on the revenue. That looks awesome. Then if I go to sort it, to do largest to smallest, so I can see who the top 5 are, but that doesn't limit it itself. I need to go to the filter and do a value filter, top 10, but change it to top 5. Hit OK. But when I print it, when I do the chart, well, let's just talk about this. When I make the chart from this, so insert a pivot chart, and I want a bar chart, and I neglected to talk about, I did not mention, that when Excel makes charts, it makes it upside down from what the data table said. So the data table had the highest value at the top, but the chart puts the highest value at the bottom. And to fix that, go back to your revenue numbers and sort smallest to largest. And it still keeps the top 5 because it's filtered the same, but now it's when the chart gets made upside down, the biggest one goes to the top. So while I'm thinking about this, let me go back to salesperson and switch the data around to sort it from smallest to largest. There we go. Okay. Back to sheet 3. We will remove the field buttons, remove the legend, remove the axis markers. We'll remove the grid lines. We'll add data labels and put them, select it and then right click, format the data labels inside the end. Click on the data series, fill bucket, change the color to yellow. Nice. And with the data series selected, I can put a border on in a complementary color. I'm going to choose a dark brown. That's a border around the data series. We need to change the gap width. That's over here in the 3 bars. Change it to 40. Change the title. This will be Top 5 Customers dash 2014. Control B, make it bold. Anything else? Nope, that looks good. Okay, let's move on. Oh, wait. Actually, 2 things I forgot. One is I need to make a border. So select the entire chart, do a solid line border in black. Nice, and name the pivot table. This is top 5 customers. And now let's do the sheet 2, top 5. Okay, and move on. Our next chart will be sales by region, north, south, east, west. So add a new worksheet, insert a pivot table, and sales data, and this time I need by region. So region and revenue again. And let's name the table before I forget. This is by region. Insert a chart. This time a column chart is what we wanted. Now specifically, they had north, south, east, west. So I want to change the ordering around. Take the north region. Come on, there it is. North, then south. There we go. Then east, west. Good. Remove the field buttons. We can take off the labeling on the axis, remove the legend, take off the grid lines, change the chart title to Sales by Region dash 2014. Enter, and with it selected, I can make it bold. And let's add data labels. But I don't want the pennies in there. So let me go back to the pivot table and change the number format and take the decimal places off. Okay, format the data series again, change the gap width, make it 40%. Maybe make these a little bit bigger, and I can do that from the Home tab. Just increase the font size. I need a border around the chart. So a solid line in black. Right click, format the data series, fill in line, change the color to a nice orange. And I would like a border around it. Border, solid line, something that goes good with orange. Okay. Now let me name my worksheet by region. Okay. Now count of transactions by invoice amount. New worksheet. New pivot table. Based on sales data table we created. This time I want revenue. Click on revenue, it automatically puts it in values and it just gave me a sum of all the revenue. But what I want is I want to do every individual transaction as its own separate row. So I can see what the invoice amount was. Well, actually, let me redo this. If I take revenue and put it in values again, but change it to value field settings, change to account, there were 3 invoices for $0 and there were 2 invoices for $38.50. What I want to do is group these invoices by revenue. If I click in here and go to Pivot Table Analyze, there's a group selection. It says start at 0, end at 79.38, which must be my highest value, and go by thousands. If you hit OK, and you can see that that's what the groups would be, but let me go back to my count again. I probably should have just left it. Let's put that on there, and there are only 8, 9, 10, 11 invoices that are above 4,000. So I'll probably want to group all of those together into a single bin. And we can see that that's what happened here on the chart. Everything greater than 4,000, all 11 of those went into the same bin. So to do that, go back to Pivot Table Analyze and Group Selection. And ending at, this time I want to end at 4,000. And since there is data beyond 4,000, it creates the greater than and then puts in the 4,000. So that's our pivot table. Let's give it a name. This will be count transactions. Let's make a chart. Insert pivot chart. Clustered column. And let me just bring that up again. Yes, keep it blue. The value up on the top, bin names. Okay, looks pretty straightforward. Remove all of the fill buttons, take off the legend, get rid of the grid lines, take off the vertical axis, and add data labels on the outside. That's good. Now notice I still have my pivot chart fields. If I go back to this one, the format shape, that's how I get my menu options back. And I'm on the series options where I can change the gap width to 40%. That looks good. And my title, other than, let's name the worksheet. This is count transactions. Okay, so I have my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pivot charts. I'm going to add a worksheet, and this is going to be my dashboard. And I'm just going to place those charts on the dashboard to make it look nice. And if we look back at our sample dashboard, we can see that there's a nice blue background. I've got the sales trend across the top and slicers down here. Okay. So first I want to select the entire worksheet. You can do that by clicking in this top triangle up in the corner, or you can select any cell and do a Control A, Control Alt, and then go to Home. And we're just going to put background color in. Let's make it this blue. It's kind of a deep blue, but okay, we'll go with it. I want to take off any grid lines. I don't want the formula bar to show. And then when I'm all done, I'll take off these column headers too. For now, let's bring in our charts. And now this is just me. You can cut this chart and paste it in. I like to do a Control-C copy and then a Control-V paste it in, just because I'm always afraid I'm going to ruin it somehow and I don't want to have to rebuild it. Go to by region, copy it, come back to your dashboard, go someplace else, paste it in. Top 5, copy it, back to the dashboard. You don't want to have this still selected or else it'll paste it on top of that instead of that. Go somewhere else and paste in your top 5. And then by salesperson, copy, come back and paste it in somewhere. All right, and oh, my trend, sales trend. Copy it, bring it back to the dashboard, paste it in somewhere. Okay, I'm going to make the dashboard, the sales trend is going to be, let me bring up my example. Sales trend goes across the top and it's going to set the width, but I also need my slicers here. So let's bring in the slicers. Pick any one of these and go to Pivot Chart Analyze and insert a slicer. I want to have a slicer for the salesperson and the region. And then click OK. And close this down. Here's my salesperson. Here's the region. Let me shorten that up a bit. So I'll take my sales trend and let me close that down. Take the sales trend and pull it out about there. That looks good. With this selected, go to Format, and I can see that it's 1.85 inches tall and it's 10.6 inches wide. So I think I want to make these graphs to be 5 inches wide. So with this selected, 5 inches wide, perfect. 3 inches tall is a little bit much. Let's go 2.5. And let's try those settings on this other one. Come over here. Select this one, format it to 2.5 inches tall and 5 inches wide. I think that will work. Yeah, I can see that pretty well. I'll get those adjusted here in a minute. Okay, this one, and hit the control button, this one. We'll format both of those at the same time. 2.5 inches tall, 5 inches wide. And now I'm going to place them. Select just this one. Oops. Just this one. Thank you. There, we move it. And that one. Nope. Select around the edge. Okay. Actually, it looks like I could go just a little bit wider because I've got quite a big gap in there. If I line them up. Let me select all 4 of them. Hold down the Control key. Go to Shape Format. Let's go 5.1. How about 5.2? Take the sales trend and Control select the, I have these in the right order. Let me switch these around. Salesperson, region, top 5 customers, and count. Okay, oops, count. So take salesperson, control top 5 customers, and 2014 sales trend. And on format, I'm going to align them left. And then I'll take the sales trend. First, let me click off this to unselect. Take sales trend, hold down the control key, sales by region, and count of transactions, and align them to the right. Well, I don't want that. Let me move them as close as I can. I think it's going to align with the rightmost thing that I have and the leftmost thing that I have. Okay, let's try this again. Sales trend is the farthest left. Control and select, shape format, and align to the left. Yeah, the others moved out to meet it. Okay, now sales trend is the farthest to the right. Control click the others. Shape format, align to the right. There we go. Okay, now deselect. I want sales by region and sales by salesperson. I want these two aligned. So let me get those two selected and align those at the top. And then same with top 5 and transactions by sales amount. Align those at the top. These are not aligned. And then left. Okay, that looks nice and straight. Oh, I can't see it on my salesman. Come up to here, pull it down a little bit, just so I don't have to have that scroll. Okay, this is looking good. I need to attach my slicers to all of the pivot tables. So I'll select and go to the slicer settings, report connections. This is where it pays off that I named everything. So I just want to have all 5 of those tied to this first slicer. We can see it updating. And then come down to region and slicer and report connections, and same thing. Have it attached to all 5 and hit OK. And now East region, you can hold down the control key, do East and South region. You could have separate salespeople selected. None of these people were in just the East and the South. So let me take off that filter. Hold down the control key. I can see all of these separate salesmen, or I can remove the filter altogether. Okay, last thing to clean this up, I want you to select the column. I want this to be the edge of the dashboard. So select it and then Control, Shift, and right arrow to select all the way to the end of the worksheet. And then right click and hide all those columns so that when we get back to our dashboard, there's nothing to click out here. And then the same thing, let's go to row, start at row 38, highlight the row and Control Shift down to select everything beneath it, and then hide all of those so that you have a dashboard that fits nicely in here. And then let's move our dashboard to the front of the dashboard, have the data there, but then highlight sales trend, hold down the Shift key and go to the end. It will select all of these other tabs and right click and hide them so that all that your supervisor gets shown is the dashboard and then the data if they want to see it. One other quick thing, if your manager wants to know about the East region, you can select it and then right click and show detail, and it will create this detail number 1, which is only things in the East region. So it brings the part of the data that created that piece of the dashboard. Okay, good job. Upload your dashboard, and I'll see you in the next video.